Today we're going to go over 3.1 inequalities and their graphs. So I want to say that this is the less than symbol, the greater than symbol, and the equal to symbol. Now the way you read this is from left to right. I like to think of it as a Pac-Man. I don't know if you guys like Pac-Man, but I do. The big part of the mouth is the greater than, and the small part is the less than. And you always read it from left to right. So if you were to be reading this one, it would be less. So it would be less than, and because the small one is first. And if you read this one, it would be greater than, because the bigger part of the mouth is first. Again, we read it left to right, just like you read English and your books. Now for number one, we have -3. It's either less than, greater than, or equal to 2. It's going to be less than, because a negative number is smaller than a positive number. Also, I want you to notice the small part of the mouth is pointing towards the -3. So less than goes first. Therefore, we read -3 is less than 2. For number 2, we have 6.5 and 6.3. I want you guys to notice, they both start with 6. So we go on to the next number, which is 5 and 3. Since 5 is bigger than 3, this is going to be a greater than. Again, big mouth is going to go toward the bigger number. Then we have a half and -3/4. Again, a positive is always going to be greater than a negative. And then we have 0.25 is equal to a quarter, which is going to be equal, as a quarter is the same thing as 0.25. So we're going to tell whether the inequality x is less than 5 is true or false for the following values. Remember, when we have x is less than 5, this x are all the numbers that can be solutions. So they can be 4, 3, 2, 1, -1, 0, -5, -10. All of those are solutions because they are smaller than 5. So in that in mind, since -10 is smaller than 5, we can say that number 5 is true. Now 5 is equal to 5, yes, but the inequality doesn't say equal, it just says less than, so this would be false. Then we have 4.99. That is still smaller than 5, so that is a true statement. And then we have x is equal to -1/5. Now, because a negative number is always smaller than a positive, either way, this would be a true statement. Now, guys, this is our objectives, which is identifying solutions of inequalities with one variable, and to write and graph inequalities with one variable. You guys are going to need to know what these are, inequality and solution of an inequality. We'll go over it, as those are just vocabulary that we're going to be using during the class. So, to go over those definitions, an inequality is a statement that two quantities are not equal, and the quantities are compared by using the following signs. So guys, we've been working with equations. Let's say y is equal to 3. And inequality, there's not an equal. So it would be, let's say y is greater than 3. That means that there's more than one solution. Anything bigger than 3 would be an inequality. Because again, an equal is something specific, and inequality, there could be multiple answers. Now, the reason they're saying A is less than B, A is greater than B, A is less than or equal to B, A is greater than or equal to B, or A is not equal to B, are just different ways you draw it. Again, keep in mind, less and the small part of the inequality goes first. Greater, the bigger part. Less than and equal, we have less than and that line at the bottom. That would tell us the equal sign. Then it's greater than or equal to. So we have the greater than, and we have the equal in there too written. So we write that line at the bottom. And if it's not equal, we're just going to have an equal sign with a line going through it. That means it is not equal. And a solution of an inequality is any value of the variable that makes the inequality true. So as I use the example, x is greater than y is greater than 3. That means that the solution of an inequality is going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, and all those positive numbers past there. Since we said that y is greater than 3. So they want us to find the solution of x minus 6 is greater than or equal to 4. I want you guys to realize this inequality symbol, greater than or equal to, is not going to do anything that you guys haven't done. You've usually solved it as x minus 6 is equal to 4. We're going to add that 6 like we usually do, and we're going to get that x is equal to 10. Now I want you to realize there are the exact same steps to solve an inequality. We're going to get x minus 6 is greater than or equal to 4. So we're going to add the 6 just like we have been to solve for equations. And we get that x is greater than or equal to 10. That is the whole difference. That instead of an equal, you're going to have an inequality. There is another rule, but we'll cover it when the problem comes up. As of right now, treat it exactly like an equal sign. We have an inequality like 3 plus x is less than 9 has too many solutions to list. So you can use a graph on a number line to show all the solutions. Now before you are able to solve for this, to graph it, we're going to want to solve for x like we do in any other scenario. So we're going to subtract that 3 on both sides, and we're going to get x is less than 6. Now, I want to point something out. If you have a less than or a greater than, it's going to be an open circle. If you have a less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, it's going to be a closed circle. Just as a tip, if you guys leave the variable on the left side of the inequality, just like we have here, you guys will be able to just draw on the number line the exact same way the inequality is looking. So in this case, we have the x minus 6. The x is on the left. You guys notice there's an open circle right here, and it's pointed to the left just like that is. So again, if you put the x on the left side or the y, the variable that we're solving for, on the left, you can just draw the exact same way that it is already facing. Now I'm going to go ahead and read what's on the green. It's just restating what I just told you guys. The solutions are shaded and an arrow shown that the solution continue past those shown on the graph. To show that an endpoint is a solution, draw a solid circle at the number, and to show an endpoint is not a solution, we draw an empty circle. So that is just saying what I just told you guys right here. If it's just greater than or less than, it's open, just like that. And if it's greater than or equal to, then it is closed. That is the whole thing that green statement says, is what I just explained with those little drawings. This is just a way of saying it, how it's written in an algebra form, and how to graph it. So, all real numbers are less than 5. I want you guys to notice, less than goes first. So, again, we read it from the left to the right, so the small part of that arrow is drawn. We have an open circle, and it's drawn to the left. For the second part, they tell you greater than, again, because it's greater, the big part of the mouth of that drawing, of that symbol, it goes first. And again, because there's no equal sign, it's going to be open and to the right. Then we have all real numbers less than or equal to a half. Again, less than or equal. Here we're going to have the less than symbol, and then we're going to draw that little equal sign at the bottom. And again, just to show you guys, this is a closed circle, and it's drawn to the left. And lastly, we have all real numbers greater than or equal to 0. Again, greater than or equal to. Again, greater than goes first, which is the open part of that symbol. We have the equal sign at the bottom because it says or equal to, and then 0 because that's what it states. So we have a closed circle, and we draw to the right. Here they're asking us to graph each inequality. So let's take it one step at a time. I'm going to draw my line right there. You're going to have the 3/4 drawn at the bottom. I'm just going to write 4, 4, and 2 over 4. And let's draw it out. We have that drawn. So we have a greater than or equal to. So a closed circle. And we're going to go to the right because the M is on the left. We follow the same direction that inequality is drawn. So that will be the graph that we are looking at. Now for the second one, we have to solve it either with PEMDAS or with distribution. I'm going to use PEMDAS first. So we have t is less than 5 times -1 plus 3 is equal to 2. To get t is less than 10. So we draw out the line 10, 11, and 9. So I'm going to do an open circle at the 10 mark and draw to the left. Now the reason I can draw it just like that, the t's on the left can just follow the same direction of the right. If you were to distribute it, we would have gotten t is less than 5 times -1 is -5, plus 5 times 3 is 15. We're going to simplify. -5 plus 15 is still 10. So you still get the exact same answer, guys. Is there an option which way you'd rather do it? To graph A, you're just going to have to draw a line and write, let's say, 2.5, 2.6, 2.4. It's going to be an open circle, and we're going to draw to the right. And then for the second one, we have to solve it. So let's follow PEMDAS. 2 times 2 is 4. I'm just going to rewrite the -4 is greater than or equal to W. 4 minus 4 is 0. It's greater than or equal to W. Now, I'm going to do the tip that I told you guys. I'm going to write the W on the left. So I'm just going to write W is less than or equal to 0. I want you guys to realize, it seems like I flipped the sign, but I really didn't. The small part is still pointing towards the W. So if you're going to write it, please make sure the sign is still facing the same way. In the sense that if the small part of the inequality is facing the W, please make sure if you rewrite it, that it's still facing towards the W. So we're going to draw right here. Let me do the actual line. I'm going to draw right. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. A line. We're going to draw 0, 1, 2, -1, and -2. Now it's going to be a closed circle because we have the equal to, and it's a less than or equal to, so we're just going to draw it to the left. To draw this first inequality, which is x is less than 2, just going to write 2, 3, 1, again, open circle to the left. Now for the other one, I'm going to write -0.5. I'm going to write 0, and I'm going to write -1. It's going to be a closed circle, and I'm going to aim it to the right. Here they're asking you to write the inequality and then show it by a graph. I can easily do y is greater than 3. I think we used that example earlier. And I'm going to write 3, let's say 4. I draw a line a little long, so I'm just going to write 5 numbers. And we can do an open circle and to the right. I encourage you guys to do more. If you feel comfortable with it and you want to do more, go right ahead and do so. I just did one example. And again, the variable could be anything. Y, X, A, Z, W. So feel free to write it with whichever variable. So this is just some words. When it says no more than, means less than or equal to. So please, this sign would look like this, less than or equal to. And if it says at least, it means greater than or equal to. So please make a note of that, as the next 2 examples are going to include those. So just at least is greater than or equal to, and no more is less than or equal to. So this problem says, Ray's dad told him not to turn on the air conditioner unless the temperature is at least 85 degrees. Keep in mind, at least is the words right there. Define a variable and write an inequality for the temperature at which Ray can turn on the air conditioner. Graph the solution. So as we remember, at least means greater than or equal to. So you can say x is greater than or equal to 85 degrees. So I'm just going to graph it. We're going to put 85, 86, and 84. Closed circle, and we're aiming it to the right. Have any questions? So a store's employee earns at least $8.50 per hour. At least, again, is the word that they're using. I'm going to write greater than or equal to so I don't forget. Define a variable and write an inequality for the amount the employees may earn per hour. They want us to graph the solution. So in this case, they're telling us what variable they want us to use. So we're going to do W is greater than or equal to 850. This means that an employee can earn $8.50 an hour or more. So once we graph it, we're going to put 850, I'm going to put 9, and I'm going to put 8 just for purposes right now. I'm going to do a closed circle because of that equal to underneath the greater than, and I'm going to draw to the right. While you guys finish writing this down, I do want to say that you guys do have homework.